As Dave said in the debut, it's about staking your claim. In Landmark, you get to own a piece of the world. The changes that you make to your claim are permanent. You can share your permissions to your claim with other people, and all you're really responsible for is maintaining its upkeep. Some of you may recognize this slide. It's extremely important for us to create a product that builds critical mass. The more people who participate and take interest in this product, building, creating, the better for all of us. It helps make building relevant to you and everyone else. You don't have to search YouTube. You don't have to go out on the internet to look for things to be inspired by. You can wander the game and see other people's amazing creations. The more people who play, the more amazing creations you'll see. You visit them, you can explore them personally. And the thing that's important is that is the key. Unlocking the ability to create in the minds of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, and allowing you to share that with one another is the reason why we're doing this. And then ultimately, it's about the cost. When we talk about building critical mass, making the player base as large as it can be to support these ideas, to help them grow, so that you can share your creativity with each other, so that your inspiration, the guy who's built a building next to yours, and you can see where he's taking cues from what you've done. You improve on some of the things that you've seen that he's worked on. We've seen that even in our own development cycle, and the power of it has amazed us. And this was our idea. When you get involved in this, we know, we can predict, based on what we've already seen, that the result is going to be absolutely spectacular. And for critical mass, for building that player base, the cost is nothing. So when you have friends that are interested in joining, the barrier to entry for them is absolutely zero.
There's a whole bunch of cliches on this slide, I apologize. Write what you know.
No, he doesn't.
There are apologies to come after this. Write what you know. We at SOE know MMOs. We know massively multiplayer games. We want to make sure that this game is both massive and multiplayer. And that means when you're building, you'll be building with other people, not just one or two, three or four, but you'll have your entire guild building with you, all on your platform you're sharing. We want to give you the tools to do that, no matter at the scale that you want to do that. Like whether you're doing it with your entire guild and you formed like Besties Builders Band, and you guys go out, you're best friends, and you build everything together, or whether you just pick up some rando in a tavern and you guys make a one-night lemonade stand, you know, like whatever it is you want to do, we're gonna give you the tools to do that.
No, that's the best example ever.
Yeah. And you can participate in multiple groups of building. So, you know, you get your group of buddies, like the 5 of us up here at the table. You get your guild, you build with your wife or your girlfriend, and share property with her, and have a building collaborative.
Or ex-wife.
So you could divide your. We have not engineered that system yet. We'd love your feedback on it.
Yeah. Maybe the system
For any new set that you can provide us. Awesome.
So kind of on a similar note, sharing this character. One of the reasons that you want a lot of people to work with you is because different people are going to go out into the world and gather resources in different places. If you want to have your guild hall have this beautiful mahogany floor, you're going to have to find the Black Forest and harvest all of that. And you know, the Black Forest might be on the other side of the world. You don't want to send your whole guild over there. So you can send one guy over to get the mahogany from the Black Forest, and one guy down in the magnet chambers to get obsidian or tile. And everybody comes together and shares those resources and use those to make something really neat. collaboration. You've seen a lot of really cool things on the internet and in other games where people have come together and made just massive things. And it's never just one guy, it's never just a couple of people. It's a really big system of people coming together. We just want to make sure that we support that. We want to listen to you guys and see what kind of features you want in order to make that easier on you. We're working on making that happen.
We've already opened dialogues with a number of those groups that have larger presences on the internet, and we'll be continuing to do so in the course of development. It's not just an issue of building, it's everything related to EverQuest Next and Landmark. So machinima creators, collaborative developers, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the groups that are out there that have their own websites. They recruit, they build these social structures and organizations, and they go to a great deal of detail, much like in guild management, where they have portfolios that they request of people's work. They get very serious about what they're doing. And we're going to build tools to the greatest extent possible to help foster that environment.
Yeah, one of the things that's really cool about Landmark is that not only are the tools really awesome, but it's being built like an MMO. So all those social structures and everything like that are there all the time. So collaborating and everything like can be really easy. It's one of those things that's really easy to overlook when you think about Landmark, because we're so used to MMOs. But when you play those other block building games, those things are completely absent. And that makes a big difference in this game.
One of the things that surprised us as we were working on Landmark and EverQuest Next was that the idea itself was supported in so many elegant ways by the things that we had already done as MMO players. Creating social structures to allow us to overcome the difficulties that were presented in the MMOs that we were playing. Those really taught us the skills necessary to collaborate and actually build things, right? To create, right? It seemed to work out perfectly for us. And as an MMO developer, we already had some of the tools to create those social structures and help people manage them.
Another thing we want to make sure is that everybody gets credit. When you do a building, or when you create something, it's something that's shared with everybody that plays with. And not just listing your name in the credits, but I think Dave's going to go into this later, but all of the rewards that one reaps are shared with everyone that put it into the system. Rome wasn't built today, but a couple of guildies, maybe a weekend or two.
We'd love to see it.
Don't invite the guy named Nero.
For these next set of slides, I want to apologize. I didn't have the beautiful concept art and screenshots that Jeff was able to gather. So I turned to the internet for a little help. See what I mean?
You're not. I did it too. You're not.
Okay. So discovering content. This section's about how you guys are going to find all of the different things that are going to be created. We expect this library to be massive. Like, there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff. There's going to be some stuff that's, not the best. And we want to make sure that you guys can find the stuff that you're interested in, find the stuff that's super awesome. So one way we're going to do that is we're going to tell you about it. You'll be able to choose how often you get messages from us. If you want daily updates on what your favorite dude is building, we will make that happen. If you don't want all that kind of spam, you can set up like a weekly reminder, a monthly, whatever you guys want to do, through whatever means you're comfortable with. We can do it in-game, we can send you emails, talked about sending you text messages, like however involved you want to be is how involved we'll make it for you. They'll come through alerts when something changes. If somebody has, if your guild has moved on to the next stage and they're publishing anything, we'll send you an alert about that. We're also going to have a landing page when you come into the game or when you're browsing outside of the game. We want to make sure that we're giving you a lot of different opportunities to find stuff. And we're going to filter that for you, and we're going to have featured content. So there'll be everything that people vote on will be filtered, and we'll have a list at the top, builds. We'll have author spotlights. If one dude is kicking a whole bunch of butt, we'll call him out and we'll say, hey, Joe's making awesome stuff. Check out what Joe made this week. And we'll have special events. I'll get into that in a second, but the main idea there is we'll say, come in next week, we're going to have a special build themed around this. We want everybody to put their ideas in. And I know this life is kind of dry, so follow along some friends to help out. So the other way that we're going to surface this content is not just sending this message out to you, but helping you find what you're looking for. Every build, everything that you make will be tagged. You'll be given the opportunity to say whether this is something from NORAD or something from Old England or something sci-fi. You can build whatever you want, and you'll be able to categorize these things. And we want you to be able to find the thing that you're specifically looking for. That can be as broad as like the type of thing it is, or you can say, I'm looking for something with a blue door, and we'll help you find that. Reporting. We expect that people might make some things that are not quite family appropriate. So we're definitely keeping that in mind and putting in systems to police that and keep that out of the game, because that's not the goal for us.
We do it already with a lot of stuff in these games already, with profanity in chat, or people decorating their house with swastikas, or whatever it is. That stuff it uses slash report already, and that mechanism has always worked really well for us, and it will work again here in Landmark.
But it will be largely community driven to the greatest extent possible.
So the themes, I guess I kind of skipped ahead earlier. Those themes will be separated up into the larger categories like sci-fi, fantasy, and contemporary, and whatever. And the tagging will be the more specific points. So we'll give you filters so you can sort through all of these things and find the thing that you're looking for specifically. We want to make that as easy as possible, and we're looking at all different ways to do that. So I mentioned browsing not just in-game, but offline as well, on your phone, on your web browser. We want you to be able to find these things and then queue them up, so when you do come into the game, you can be like, oh, I remember I was on my lunch break at work and I saw this guy in this build, so I wanted to check that out when I got home. You can queue all those up, and when you get home, go check them out. So you're not spending all of your free time at home sorting through all of this. You can do it when you're on the bus, on the way to work, or whatever.
I'd like to talk to you and give you an example of how that might work. I'm sure David will have something to add. He's very passionate about how players will be able to see this content, how they'll be able to browse it. Imagine the million tweet map. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it, right? You look at it and view the world, and you see how many people are tweeting in what area, right? You can zoom in like you can in Google Maps and see how many tweets there are right now in Las Vegas in real time. So all the tagging, flagging, reporting, filtering, themes, et cetera, we want you to be able to look at the maps of the continents in EQN and Landmark and choose from categories and drop-down menus the things you're looking for. Basically set up your filters. If you're looking for historical castles, recreations of historical castles, you should be able to choose that in your filter, and you should be able to click search. And then you get a top-down view of the world, and everything that is flagged as a historical castle is shown there on your map. You can walk to it if it's within walking distance and convenient, or you can select them to queue them up and visit them later, or potentially teleport to them in certain circumstances.
Yeah, the original idea behind Landmark was the basic idea that we were joking about when we first started. To keep everything simple was that every character had, if I can remember it right, was a map, a bag, a pig, and a flag. And that was really all you had when you walked out in the world. And the map is that interface to all the stuff that Jake and Jeff have been talking about.
Was that a goal?
That was just So, in addition to telling you about everything, and giving you the ability to look for things, we want to let you tell everyone else about something. So you'll be able to write reviews on content. You'll be able to rate content. And if you find somebody that you like, you'll be able to subscribe to that author. So anytime that they put out something new, you'll get an alert, or you'll be able to find the new thing that they've made.
I'd actually like to let you. I feel like I'm being watched.
Even Ken knows what you subscribe to?
I'd like to let you be able to subscribe to reviewers. People who, Dave's a great example, right? If Dave reads the book, I generally know that I'm going to enjoy that book when he recommends it to me. When I find somebody that's out there looking at content, reviewing historical castles, this guy knows what's awesome and what isn't. Every time I see him make a comment or review something, he's dead on the money. His thoughts are my thoughts. We share an opinion. So I started subscribing to his reviews and comments. Every time he gives something a thumbs up, it comes up on my list. I queue it up and I go check it out. That's the sort of thing we're talking about, basically empowering the community and help each other find out what's awesome in this product.
We also want to try and drive the types of things that are getting built. So we're planning on having contests that'll have different themes. Like, we want to see what your guys' take on Kano's is. We want to see what your guys' take on different seasonal things could be. Like, we want to see a winter village or like a harvest festival. And we want to take all those things and rate the best ones and show them off and give you guys a chance to shine. We don't want to just do your queue and seasons. We'll have different challenges as well, like a literal sandcastle building contest where you would build a castle out of sand. I can't even imagine how far people are going to go with that, but I'm really, really excited to see it.
I can't describe how excited we are about this particular thing. We have lots more to talk to you about in the months to come. I'm really looking forward to it because it becomes even more exciting as you learn ultimately what our plans are for these things.
Okay, so let's talk about Player Studio. Making stuff is cool. What do we do with it? All right, so basically we wanted you to be able to have a huge impact on all the worlds. So one of the ways, when you're building stuff in your on your claimant or working with other folks on a co-op build, you're affecting your own world. Player Studio allows you to affect all the worlds because the marketplace can be accessed from everywhere on all the different worlds. Cool. So when you make something and you create it, and it's awesome and it's a big benefit to the community, it's not just your community, you're benefiting everybody. You're, of course, using all the in-game tools to be able to build that, which we've already talked about. You can then just very easily package them up for sale, stick them up on the Player Studio, and then once other people see that item, they're not only seeing the item, they're also seeing who you are, but your name and reputation, they can thumbs up and thumbs down stuff, so you can see how people are responding to it, and then you make money from that. We share the revenue with you, of course, but it's one of those ways that you can capitalize on your own imagination and creativity, and like I said, contribute to all of the worlds around you. One of the things people don't always get right away when we start talking about Landmark and EverQuest Next is the concept of templates. See, when you make an item and you package it up, you're not selling the actual item. You're selling a template, which is kind of like a pattern. And so when you're putting that up there, other people are seeing what the end result would look like when they buy the template. But you have to go out and actually, sorry, I lost my voice at the pool party last night. So when other people see your item on the marketplace and they buy it, what they're doing is they're buying that pattern. They still have to go out into the world or talk to other players and acquire resources that way. But you have to get all the pieces that you need to be able to build that item, and then you can stick it on your claim and be able to create it. We're also going to allow you to save all those templates, which is a really cool labor-saving device. It's basically like a save file that's kept on the servers. And once you have that template on Landmark, if it's appropriate to NORAD when we get to EverQuest Next, you'll be able to actually import that in. And once you have an area to call your own inside EverQuest Next, then you'd be able to put those objects on that area.
fun, it's enjoyable, it doesn't take as long as you would think it does, because the tool is extremely powerful, but this allows you to get a head start. If you wanted to build an amazing guild hall, you can start putting that together before EverQuest next launches, you can be ready.
Now, I also wanted to point out, because we all love EverQuest here, we all love NORAD. But I wanted to make sure that everybody understands, Landmark is not just NORAD. Just on that one continent, it's only NORAD. But everywhere else, it can be anything you want to. So obviously, this is just clip art from the web. I apologize for that. But I wanted to show the wide variety of imaginations that you can bring to it. So anything from modern day to or to fantasy to sci-fi, whatever you want to build, you can do. Anything that doesn't violate our EULA and our good taste rules, you can be able to make. But like I said in the presentation, anything customer service allows. That's what we'll do. So you can go off on that and then be able to also participate with the creation of NORAD on those special contents. And then, of course, you always need to keep in mind that the more original your item is, the more time it took you to create it, the more useful it is to other players, the more likely it is to sell really well. And if you're into that, if what you want to do is participate in Player Studio, then that's something you should always keep in mind. Because if you build something cool, like what I mentioned in my example last night, about if I built a really cool tower that other people could use when they were kitting out a castle, well, lots of people are going to build castles, or they're going to build little environments that involve keeps and things like that. So if I built a really rocking tower, I might be able to actually make a lot of money that way, which would be cool. And even if you're not into the money, it's still cool to see other people use your stuff. We also want to make you famous. If you want to be famous, we'll make you famous. You get to pick your name, but when you make items and they go up on Player Studio, your handle goes with it. We're going to make sure that you can tag and filter on that map that Jake and Jeff were talking about, so that you can find stuff really easily. But it also means that when you find a creator that is making stuff that you really like, you can subscribe to their channel effectively, and every time they publish something, you'll know about it, and you can decide whether you want to pick it up.
Websites like DeviantArt.
That sort of thing is exactly what we're shooting for. And then, of course, buyers can do ratings up and down so that other players can find stuff that's really cool, and as well as to give you feedback from your players. Now, the royalty system. I won't go into the examples very much because I mentioned the tower and castle thing already. But since the voxel contribution, everybody saw the presentation last night? Did anybody not see it? Okay, good. I don't have to go through that again. So that means that with the voxel contribution system for royalties, your creations and your creativity are protected. And when other people use your stuff, you're still going to end up getting paid for it. That is true of not only stuff that you do independently, but also when you work cooperatively with a group. You can either, oops, a little bit too soon. You can either go on a straight per voxel basis, or if somebody is running a co-op group and they want to assign percentages that should be of the royalties that should go to each individual group member, you can manually adjust that. So that's the panel. Now we're going into the Q&A, and Terry will be taking questions.
All right, so you were here yesterday. We're going to